Our goal was simple, future wars. Our goal was simple, future wars. Our goal was simple, future wars. Our goal was simple, future wars.
Of the interpreters that were left behind in Afghanistan and Iraq, and the special immigrant visa program, which is supposed to take care of them. But that program has been broken for at least 6 years now. 6 years ago, an Afghan translator named Shahidar Afghan, who had supported U.S. forces for many years, applied for one of those visas. But sadly, he waited 4 years, but sadly he's waiting no longer because in 2015, the Taliban kidnapped him, tortured him, shot him in the back of the head and threw him on the side of the road so people would know what happens to people who work for the Americans. That situation should not be allowed to continue. And hopefully, the effective immigrants who wanted to serve in the U.S. Armed Forces, his reply was this: I think when you serve in the Armed Forces, that's a very special situation. He's right about that. The people we're talking about today are veterans in almost every sense of the word except the legal sense. They have supported U.S. forces. They have participated in U.S. combat operations. They have risked their lives supporting U.S. military personnel, including in combat situation. He's right about that. The people we're talking about today are veterans in almost every sense of the word except the legal sense. They have supported U.S. forces. They have participated in U.S. combat operations. They have risked their lives supporting U.S. military personnel, including in combat. The biggest difference between them and legally recognized veterans is that their lives are in danger if they stay in their home country when their service is completed. Fortunately, as I mentioned, there are already signs the administration is working to modify the implementation of the executive order to accommodate interpreters who worked for us in Iraq. And the Congress is reportedly discussing something they're calling a No One Left Behind Act. I could not have come up with a better name if they'd asked me. I love it. Which could provide a chance to unblock much of what has been stuck for years now. Second, the program we're discussing today could provide a model for the kind of strict vetting of immigrants that the President has promised and the American people obviously want. The participants in the SIV program have perhaps the largest stake in keeping out questionable people who might be coming here to try to target them. Already they go through the most strict vetting of any U.S. visa program. They could be an excellent source of ideas for how the vetting process could be made more effective and more efficient in the future. With those opening comments, let me introduce.
Here are both Vietnam-era veterans and asked, can you help me out with this as well? And we started putting a team together, and here we are now, almost 4 years later. We're in 8 cities, and we've helped resettle over 4,000 people in that time, but that's just a drop in the bucket. There are still tens of thousands of these people. Our goal is simple. Our goal is simple. Who are left behind. And so our goal is simple. We want to get them all their visas that they were promised. When they arrive here, we want to give them what we call an honor flight welcome at the airport and present them with an American flag and thanks for their service. We want to find them a place to live. We want to pay for it for 90 days, furnish it at no cost to them, find them a car, buy them that car, and give it to them because the car is ultimately the most transformative thing we can do. It opens up a world of employment, help them to find and retain a job, and then, as we call it, find them a first friend, an American to help mentor and guide them. And after we've done this for all the people that we made this promise to in Iraq and Afghanistan, we don't want to be in business. I mean, how many organizations that you hear that say that they don't want to exist? Iraq and Afghanistan, we don't want to be in business. I mean, how many organizations that you hear that say that they don't want to exist? Our goal is simple. Our goal is simple. Future wars. Our goal is simple. Future wars. If anything, we'd like to see DOD take on this responsibility in future wars because, quite frankly, the nation's solution to this problem shouldn't be a 35-year-old with a nonprofit and a startup phase. Our goal is simple. Future wars. 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 Our goal is simple. Future wars.
we want to upgrade your knowledge about the John Fitzgerald Kennedy presidential murder.